just a poor boy, though my story is seldom told.
Well, good day. This is Microsoft Excel's if statement. The if statement is going to be an equation. It's going to start with an equal sign. Instead of doing sum or average or count or max, it's going to do if. Inside the if, there's going to be a parenthesis, and then they're going to have three things in there. Something called an argument, then what to do if that argument is true, and then what to do if that argument is false. So let's do a few examples and we'll catch on really fast. How old do you have to be in order to be eligible to vote? Well, yeah, you have to be 18. So we'll get the computer to check to see, is this number 18 or greater? And if it's greater or equal to 18, then we're going to put the word yes. And if it's not, then we're going to put the word no. So it's going to either say yes or it's going to say no. And the computer's going to decide, should it be yes or should it be no? So we'll do equals, and after equals is the if, then a parenthesis. Now the test is to find out if this thing is 18 or greater. So we'll say if B2 is greater than or equal to 18, if that's true, that's the argument. The argument is it true or false? B2 greater than or equal to 18. If it's true, I want you to put the word yes. And words have to be in quotes. So I do quote, yes, then a comma. What if it's not true? What if it's false? What should I do? I'll put in a word, no. Words have to be in quotation marks like this. So here's my little equation. If B2 is greater than or equal to 18, if that's true, you put the word yes. If it's not true, then you put the word no. Let's enter. He says, no, that guy's not eligible. Watch me double click the handle and poof, I'm all done. If they were 18 or greater, it would say yes. And if they're not 18 or greater, it's going to say no. So we're going to use this argument. What do you do if it's true? What do you do if it's false? Let's do another example. Here's an example of people who worked really hard. If their sales is 100 or greater, they should get a bonus of $20. Let's find out if they deserve a bonus of $20 or not. We'll do equals, if, parentheses, and we want to know, is B2 greater than or equal to 100? If that's true, now it's time for a comma, there's no spaces. If that's true, I'm going to give them, put in $20. Do I have to put the 20 in quotes? No, you don't have to put the 20 in quotes because it's a number, it's not a word. Only words have to be in quotes. Well, what if it's not true? What if it's not greater than or equal to 100? What should I put in? We'll put in a 0 for you. So let's read this over. It says, if B2 is greater than or equal to 100, if that's true, you put in 20. If that argument is false, you put in 0. Let's enter. This person earned a $20 bonus. We'll double click the handle and some earned a bonus and some didn't. So let's go look at another example. In order to pass, what percent do you need to get on your test? You see, only poor students know the answer to that one. You need 60 to pass. If you get less than 60, that's a fail. So I'm going to find out if these scores were passes or fails. And I'll have the computer check to see, is this one greater than or equal to 60? If it is, I want to put in a word, the word pass. If it's not, I want to put in the word fail. So I'll get the computer to check this one. I'll do equals, if, parenthesis. Now I want to do this one, A2. If A2 is greater than or equal to 60, now if that's true, put a comma. If that's true, I'm going to put in the word pass. So I'll put in quote, P-A-S-S. Now if it's not true, then I'm going to put in the word fail. Quote, because it's a word, fail. Parenthesis on the end, and it looks like I'm ready to go. Let's see if we can read it. If A2 is greater than or equal to 60, put pass. If A2 is not greater than or equal to 60, then put fail. Enter. Let's copy that down. Double click. Hey, some passed and some failed. Let's go look at another example. Now this one's a little more complicated, so you sort of got to stay with me for a little bit. These are a number of people who worked a number of hours in a week. Some people worked 40 hours, some people worked 44, this person only worked 20, 48, 40, and 42 in the whole week. That's a lot of hours. Now some of those hours are going to be regular hours, and some of those are going to be overtime hours. Regular hours are any hours up to 40. Overtime hours are hours that are over 40. So this person worked 44, 40 of those are going to be regular, and 4 are going to be overtime. They worked 4 hours of overtime. How much overtime did this guy work? None. All of his hours were regular hours. So we're going to have the computer figure out how many regular hours the person worked. So I'm going to use the if statement for that. If B2 is greater than 40, then the regular hours must have been 40, and I want them to put in a 40. Otherwise, I want to put in whatever the B2 was. For instance, maybe it might have been 20. Let's read it. Let's take, for instance, this guy only worked 20. Is the number greater than 40? No, it's not. It's not, so put in whatever the number is. The number is 20. Let's look at this guy who's 44. Is the number greater than 40? Yes, it is. Then you should just put in 40 for regular. We'll enter that in, and we'll copy it down. So people who worked 40 or greater, they had 40 regular hours. This guy had 40 regular hours. Now let's figure out his overtime hours. The overtime hours is going to be equal to the big number minus the little number. Enter. He didn't work any overtime hours. Let's copy that down. This person worked 4 extra hours. 44 minus 40, 4. 20 minus 20, no overtime hours. 48 minus 40, 8 overtime hours. Let's see, these people all worked for same rate, maybe $10 an hour, and we can figure out their regular pay. Their regular pay is their regular hours times their regular rate. So I'll put equals their regular hours times their regular rate. It's simple as that. Enter it in. This person's going to get $400 for his regular pay. This person also worked 40 regular hours at $10 an hour. But wait a minute, we didn't do the overtime yet. Let's go do that. To figure out the overtime, it's going to be the overtime hours times the regular rate times 1.5, because you get time and a half for overtime. So I'll say you get your overtime hours times your regular rate times 1.5. Let's enter that in, see what happens. This guy gets no overtime pay because he didn't work any overtime. Let's copy that down by double clicking the handle. This person got overtime pay because he worked overtime hours. And this person got overtime pay because he worked overtime hours. Now to figure out the gross pay, you just do the regular pay plus the overtime pay. That's an easy one. Equals this one plus this one. Enter it in, copy it down, double click the handle. There, I'm ready to do the payroll. So the if statement was the hardest one. It told us that to go check next door to find out if it's greater than 40. If it was greater than 40, then the regular was 40. If it's not greater than 40, then just put in the regular number. That's about all there is to it.
I am just a poor boy, though my story is seldom told.